Joe Rogan recently pointed out a detail in 50 Cent's documentary that almost everyone missed. When you connect the dots, it suggests the situation goes beyond just Diddy. With the announcement of Season 2, some of the biggest names in the industry are reportedly on edge. In this video, we'll break down the people Joe mentioned and the powerful figures allegedly linked to these claims, starting with Diddy and moving upward through the industry.
There's also like people that are elites, and that's their thing. Like their thing is to do something that is horrible, and it's not available to other people. So it's like, I think there's like a sickness that people have when they have power, like extreme power, and then what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is what else is taboo? What else is forbidden? Like all this Diddy coming out. Like,
I was just gonna say, doesn't that sound topical?
Jesus Christ! The first day of the trial, did you pay attention to any of that stuff? I looked at it for like 10 minutes this morning, and I was like, I gotta stop. I can't look at this.
Well, what freaks me out is the people sitting in the courtroom listening to it.
Right.
And there's a wide spectrum of people that are getting subjected to it, and you just sit there and go,
yeah, well, not only that, how about the fact that this guy was running this for decades? He was doing this for decades to who knows how many fucking people, and everybody was scared to talk about it because he'd have them killed.
What most people overlook is just how much influence Diddy reportedly had and the level of connections around him. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, it becomes clear he wasn't just another music producer. He moved in circles that included some of the most powerful figures in the world, across different countries. Public photos and appearances show him at events with US presidents and vice presidents such as Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and Kamala Harris, and he was also seen in settings linked to the British royal family. These connections highlight how far his reach into elite spaces appeared to extend.
For not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool.
He wearing a t-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing, he'd be sweating just like me.
The guy's good. The guy's good, y'all. Let's give it up for him.
I appreciate you guys.
Peace.
Love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Not anymore. After spending more than a year in prison, Diddy has reportedly sought a pardon from the White House, but Donald Trump has made it clear that he is not granting one.
A lot of people have asked me for pardons. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years.
According to the president himself, who spoke with the New York Times on Wednesday, the request came in the form of a letter. The contents of that letter haven't been made public. However, Trump said he has no plans to commute the music mogul sentence. He didn't give a specific reason, but noted that this is something he has been considering for months. He also addressed the issue while speaking to reporters during Diddy's lengthy trial back in May.
I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any answer.
The news of the denied pardon came about a month after Diddy's legal team filed an appeal of his sentence and conviction. Some commentators argue that his relationships with powerful figures weren't just social, but potentially strategic. One name that often comes up in these discussions is Jeffrey Epstein, who was previously convicted of serious crimes. Both Epstein and Diddy were known to have connections in elite circles, yet during the trial proceedings, no other high-profile individuals were formally charged. This has led to ongoing public speculation about who else may have been aware of, connected to, or influenced by these networks, and what roles, if any, they actually played.
Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get.
Think he's innocent, though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein. It's Ghislaine Maxwell, where there's somebody indicted and nobody else indicted for kids to
right
no
to
one.
To no one. Right. What is the next crazy thing that's going to explode in the news? Is Bill Clinton's going to have an OnlyFans? Like, what is going to happen? What is the next thing that's going to make us all go, what the what the is going on?
It's coming. You know,
how many guys were on video saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party"? How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how Ashton Kutcher, all these people. Like, you guys all went. You didn't see nothing? You didn't see nothing?
Yeah.
This isn't being presented as a proven fact, but as a long circulating rumor. For years, there have been claims in hip-hop circles that Diddy may have used his influence to gather information on others. Suge Knight, who has been incarcerated for a long time, has said in interviews that many people in the street believed this and were suspicious of Diddy's behavior, interpreting his actions and questioning style as attempts to extract sensitive information rather than just business or social interaction.
How does it go on for so long? You know, when we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, he's going to run, oh, he's not. It's the reason why these type of people get caught up. They always been feeling they're bigger than the law because they part of the law, you know? And as you know, all these people get targeted.
This is where some people say the story goes even deeper. According to those making these claims, the person who stayed closest to Diddy throughout his career was his former bodyguard, Gene Deal. Gene has stated in interviews that he personally witnessed Diddy interacting with government officials and believes Diddy was acting as a confidential informant. The theory suggests that Diddy's sense of security didn't come only from his fame or power, but from being seen as useful to authorities. In this narrative, as long as he was providing information, law enforcement had little incentive to pursue him. Supporters of this theory also argue that figures like Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein weren't acting alone, but were connected to larger networks of influence.
They'll let you do crimes, as long as you don't do no murders and stuff like that. They'll let you go around and pay you to protect them. You understand? To protect him. We had a lot of people on the payroll when we was doing security. Everybody had, somebody might have this first 10 hours, that 10 hours, or whatever. He was paying law enforcement. He had a budget for law enforcement. Now, if something goes wrong, those people got friends in certain places. Then plus he tells his handler, yo, can you make this go away for me? I'll give you this and that. Now, that could be a lot of speculations or whatever like that. But why would you have or be working for an FBI agent if you're not an informant? Why? So when you got that kind of money, you could hire people to make a lot of things go away for you. Like you hire lawyers. Those lawyers have police officers and people working for them and investigators. Those investigators were former officers. So all of
Joe Rogan outlined what he believed was a broader strategy, and after watching 50 Cent's documentary, he felt the pieces finally fit together in a way many hadn't noticed before. During Diddy's trial, some witnesses stated under oath that other individuals were present during certain alleged events, yet no additional names were officially introduced in court. Rogan compared this to patterns he had previously discussed in the Jeffrey Epstein case, suggesting that the situations appeared to follow a similar structure, where only one central figure was publicly held to account while others remained unnamed.
Was Rogue or Diddy was like a Epstein type, working for somebody?
That's a good question. Well, it would be a great way to compromise celebrities. Yeah. And get them to say whatever you want them to do, get them to do whatever projects you'd like them to do. And, you know, if you're a bunch of other celebrities are there, you're like, oh, look, Bill Clinton's here. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is cool. Look at this. Like, Brad Pitt's here. Oh, this is cool. You don't even think there's anything wrong with being there. Meanwhile, you're getting drugged up and filmed. And then they're passing out punch. Have some punch, Aaron. And you have some punch, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm feeling really good. I just feel amazing. You're all mollied up. You don't know what the you're doing. Probably a combination of things they give you.
And it's all being filmed.
Crazy. Now, if that's not an intelligence agency operation, it's just one evil super genius who figures out how to compromise everybody by providing this crazy freak off party. Everybody's got to put their phones away. Okay, we're going to put our phone away. No one's going to know anything. Yeah, it means there's going to get cameras everywhere. It's just one guy doing that. What a diabolical human being.
Yeah.
He seems pretty diabolical.
He's probably working with somebody. Or for somebody.
Me?
This is where the narrative becomes even more serious. According to the claims being discussed, Diddy wasn't only accused of gathering information or using influence, but was also allegedly linked to extreme acts of intimidation and violence. Supporters of this theory argue that when manipulation or pressure failed, darker methods were supposedly used. In 50 Cent's documentary, he points to historical conflicts in the industry as examples often brought up in this context, with the long-standing cases of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. frequently cited by those who believe powerful forces were involved behind the scenes.
It's like there was always so much East Coast, West Coast shit that's still like in the zeitgeist, you know, like with Biggie and Tupac, and they're all hating at each other, and they both got. There was a lot going on, and then there's people that thought that Puffy was involved and Suge Knight was involved.
Speaking of, I think Suge Knight's the one who said that thing I just thought of.
What thing?
About that they were there to delete stuff.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said Luke from 2 Live Crew?
Yeah, he said he was to leave early.
Yeah,
or something, right?
When Luke from 2 Live Crew is leaving early, like, you got a wild party. What if what's happening is too f***ed up for Luke from 2 Live Crew? Like, check, please. There's so many different stories.
According to long-standing allegations discussed in the media, Tupac had previously said he believed certain people in the industry were aware of threats against him. One incident often referenced is the 1994 shooting at Quad Recording Studios in New York, which police officially described as a robbery. However, Tupac later suggested in interviews that he did not believe it was random and claimed he suspected people he knew were involved. Because no property was taken, some fans and commentators have argued that the motive may have been something other than theft. These remain claims and interpretations, not conclusions established in court. Tupac reportedly believed Diddy was sending a warning with the earlier incident, suggesting a tense and dangerous environment within the industry. At the same time, the fact that no one was held accountable for the Quad Studios shooting added to the perception that some individuals could act with impunity. Tragically, nearly 2 years later, Tupac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas on September 13, 1996. This event had a major impact on the hip-hop world and shifted the dynamics of the industry, which some commentators argue influenced the rise of certain figures, including Diddy.
I think my favorite thing about 50 Cent's Netflix Diddy documentary is how he built a timeline off of this information. And one of my favorite parts of this documentary is them really getting into the timeline of events when it comes to Tupac and Biggie. And it really gives us a lot of perspective from people that were close to the situation, and a lot of people allege in this documentary that they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the Quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in the Vibe interview, and they lay out this whole timeline of the downfall happening perfectly, in my opinion. We are even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proffer agreement with Keefe D way back in 2008, where Keefe D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keefe D is coming up very soon in early 2026, and we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings already. So this is one case that I am definitely waiting for and I am going to cover. In Keefe D's 2008 proffer agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. And Keefe D told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that Keefe D alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking
50 Cent's documentary didn't just provide Joe Rogan with information, it allowed him to see the events unfold in a way he hadn't before. The documentary includes witness statements and video footage that, according to some, even law enforcement hadn't reviewed. Following its release, an investigation into Tupac's murder has reportedly been reignited. Tupac's family hired attorney Alex Spiro to examine the claims and the footage, and a former officer involved in the original case has commented that a full investigation may be reopened.
New developments in the case of the hip-hop mogul who is facing RICO charges in New York, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the murder of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired.
Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come on that one.
I get it. When you have a case that's 5 years old, it's hard to get overwhelming evidence that meets the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When you have cases this old, no matter what Fiddy has found out and put in this documentary, do you see it at all ever possible that Diddy could be involved in a trial when it comes to Biggie and Tupac?
It could be possible, yes. However, like I said, they need a lot of corroboration to make that stick, because it's really alleged right now as to his involvement. It's not anything that's substantial or concrete that he was involved. It's personally from people talking about it and saying this is what happened. You need some more information to come forward to prove that.
Jaguar Wright, who has had connections with both Jay-Z and Diddy, spoke out about what many have been hesitant to address. She claimed that Diddy's celebrity friends and political contacts have distanced themselves from him. According to her, Diddy is being portrayed as a scapegoat for broader issues in the entertainment industry, with others attempting to shift blame away from themselves. In her view, he now faces these challenges largely on his own, and his career has taken a serious hit.
Did what they needed to do in this documentary. The whole objective of this documentary was to blame it all on Diddy. The devil made me do it, blame it all on Diddy, and the rest of the industry is nothing like this. Like when Curtis Jackson sat there in his interview with Robin and sat there and said, I did this because I don't want people thinking that the hip hop community is okay with this kind of behavior. I don't want them thinking that, we're just going to be silent while all of this is going on. Like, we're okay with this kind of behavior. And my thing is huh? So now you speaking for all of hip hop, and all of hip hop is uncomfortable with this. Meanwhile, you got people like Ja Rule who, on the low key, allegedly, Gene Deal has exposed for having his own nude tryst freak-offs.
From a more symbolic or spiritual perspective, some commentators describe these powerful circles as being driven by an obsession with control and dominance, and by a desire to humiliate others. In that narrative, Diddy is portrayed as a deeply negative figure, representing what they see as the darkest side of fame and power.
Wild, man. Evil is a real thing, Nobody wants to believe, because if you believe in the devil, right? If you believe in Satan, you believe in something that's silly. Like most people a lot of people believe in God. If you ask people, do you believe in God? Yeah, well, I'm not religious, but I believe in God. Okay, well, do you believe in the devil? Most people will say no. But do you believe in evil acts? Well, yeah, well, people certainly do evil things. Well, where do you think that comes from? If evil is real, what is it about us that makes us want to deny the possibility that there's some nefarious force that is in human beings, that influences human beings? It's not as simple as like some people are bad, some people are good. No, maybe evil is a real element that you have to fight in life. And that maybe this is just something that's been documented all throughout history, but our arrogance and our secular society wants to keep us from recognizing that as an actual factor. And that's why
Joe Rogan didn't just analyze Diddy's situation, he highlighted a recurring pattern. With 50 Cent's documentary presenting all the details, it became evident that the story extends far beyond a single individual. The pressing question now is, who else might be revealed in the fallout?